All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Inside Track podcast, Equibase's weekly handicapping podcast, analyzing feature races of the week, as well as selections and wagers. I am your host, Ben Kudla, with the Equibase Company. I am joined today by guest analyst Ellis Starr, who's the Equibase National Racing Analyst with decades of handicapping experience, as long as blogs and wagers and articles, and you can follow him at UberCapper on X. So thank you for being here, Ellis.
Hey, great to be here. It's a great weekend. We have a little weather consternation going on. I think we play it safe. We're going to stick to some races that we know for sure will be run on Saturday, but people pay attention to the track feeds and you'll know what's going on. I think they'll all get run. Just some of the races might run on Sunday rather than Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that Colonial Downs Festival of Racing, the Million Beverly D and Secretariat moved to Sunday, as well as the Four-Star Dave and Saratoga Derby contingent to be the last two races on Sunday at Saratoga with no horizontal wagering. But as of right now, they are still for Saturday, and we will see how the weather prevails. So anyway, we got a couple of promotions here on Equibase. You can get an annual subscription to Race Lens for just $699. You can save $300 with the promo code in the video description down below. Race Lens, as Ellis knows, we both use it every day. It's a brilliant handicapping tool that gives you fully customizable past performances, summer and individual research, handicapping angles, advanced search, and notifications for different angles, as well as true odds predictive analysis. So save $300 today and grab that annual Race Lens subscription with the code in the video description below. We also have just $50 for the entire meet of full card premium past performances at Del Mar. And for just $65, you get the entire meet of full card premium past performances at Saratoga. So we have a great lineup today, handicapping the Grade 2 Saratoga Special at Saratoga, the Grade 2 Yellow Ribbon Handicap at Del Mar, and the Grade 2 Canadian Stakes at Woodbine. So we're going to start in the order of post time. So we got the Saratoga Special, Grade 2 200K at Saratoga, going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt for 2-year-olds. Field of 9 on Saturday. Last year we saw Rhyme Sheems with an incredible performance, winning by 9.5 lengths for trainer Norm Cassie with Ricardo Santana Jr. in the saddle. Rhyme Sheems actually had his first start back after that race last Saturday at Ellis Park in an allowance optional claiming race. He finished second, running a 106 Equibase speed figure. So here we go, the 2-year-olds. Who do you got, Ellis? What are your picks? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's an interesting race. You know, this also became a race of the week because of the questions about turf. And I look at races, especially with young horses, that a lot have not learned how to relax and rate. And I go right to left. So if they've won or run second, I go back right to left. And if I see a bunch of ones, I kind of call it a picket fence because it means at this point, that's the way they run. Also, of course, if they're doing blinkers. And just looking at these, since there's so many horses that have only run a couple times, number 2, Showcase, came from just off the pace. 3, Global Legend, wire to wire. 4, First Report, wire to wire. 5, Touchy, tried to go wire to wire, but he's taking blinkers off. 6, Ace It, wire to wire. 7, Noble Force, wire to wire. And 9, Keep It Easy, wire to wire. So I wanted to look at the other horses. Specifically, I went to look at Smokin' Wicked because he did run in the stakes already. He broke his maiden by 7 at Evangeline on June 1st. Went to Churchill Downs for the Bashford Manor, which is a significant race. It's got a $200,000 purse. And we're going to pull up that video. And if you ever, when you look at the races, you look at the short comments that our great chart callers put in, it says 4 wide, clip behind, 5/16, 7 wide, quarter. And I wanted to see what actually happened in the race. I thought the horses came from behind. But when we pull this race up, and you go ahead and make it to full screen there, you will see that he is the 12 in this race. He's going to break pretty much on top, which I was very surprised about. On the outside there, he's going to break almost on top after a few yards. And then Brian Hernandez, who rode him that day, is going to take back. And I'm not sure at some point whether the plan to take back actually backfired because Smokin' Wicked is going to appear to lose focus because he's going to go from 7th. He's going to drift all the way back to 10th. And of course, he's already running wide as it is. And then he's going to be allowed to finish. And then he passes from basically from 10th, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So he passes 7 horses. He's not even in the pick. He's still, you can see right now, he's 10th in those kind of yellow and black, gold and black triangular silks. And he's still way back.
Way back.
He's way back. And he's still on the outside in the black cap. And now he's going to get to the center of the track. And the winner at this point is going to be long gone. That's a nice horse name, Politically Correct. And Klarovich from Chad Brown. And Smoking Wicked is just going to pass everybody late. And this is a really interesting move. Whether he kind of lost focus or whatever, he sure got in the game late. His Echo-based speed figure is only 73, and some of the better ones are in the 80s, 87 for Showcase, 89 for Keep It Easy, earned wire to wire. So I really like the fact that he had the closing speed, and he's going to get a huge pace set up here. Showcase is the second pick. He came from just off the pace. He was second a length back after a quarter mile. He was ahead back after 3/8 of a mile. And then he blasted off by 5, won by 7.5. He was driven out, though. He wasn't just ridden out. He was driven a little bit. So
was after a bobble start as well.
Yeah, correct. Little bobble start. He got in good position quickly. Irado rides him back for Pletcher. No knock. He's 6-1 morning line, which I'm surprised about because he was 3-5 first time out. By the way, Smoking Wicked's 9-2 to start. And then Touchy's interesting because he made his debut in the Tremont Stakes on Belmont Stakes weekend at Saratoga on June 6th. He broke fourth. He was first after a quarter, and then he got past, ended up second. He was the 4-5 favorite that day for Wesley Ward. Taking blinkers off, he led pretty easily in the race. He just got nailed. The blinkers going to help him to see the horse coming at him this time, and he's the 5-2. I think the 5-2 morning line favorite. So Smoking Wicked, Showcase, Touchy for me, but Smoking Wicked looks like a very interesting horse in the Saratoga Special.
I love it. I love it. For me, I'm going to go with a little bit of a price play with the morning line at 12-1, the 3-horse Global Legend for trainer Mark Cassidy, who's on absolute fire right now. 9 stakes wins in the last month, 7 wins from 28 starts at Saratoga. Dylan Davis riding super well in stakes races at Saratoga this season. 15 wins in the meet as of today. 5 starts in graded stakes races with 2 wins. It's 40% win percentage and 1 second. This horse, Global Legend, he ran a solid 82 Echo-based speed figure in his first and only start, winning by 3 lengths on a sloppy Gulfstream Park track. Cassie rarely wins with first-time starters, so I think that definitely gives this horse a bit of a merit. The last 3 years, Cassie just has 50 wins from 433 starts. It's 12% first-time starters. So, and I know this was a state maiden special weight at Gulfstream. I understand. But the main reason I like this horse so much is that the second and third place finishers in that race both came back to win their next time out, including the second place finisher, Candy Crumbs, who just won the Hickory Tree Stakes at Colonial Downs last Saturday on August 3rd. Great price at 12-1 morning line. Hope he stays that price. We'll see. My second pick, I agree with you, Showcase. You know, it's hard not to like Top Pletcher and Irad Ortiz Jr., winning at 31%, 58% in the money with a maiden winner last time out. And they also win at 31% in 2-year-old graded stakes races with 10 wins from 32 starts in the last 3 years. Yeah, that nice performance we just watched, winning by 7.5 lengths after a bobble start. And, there's not a whole lot to go off with these 2-year-olds, but progeny of Sire Uncle Mo winning a 20% clip on dirt sprint graded stakes races in the past 3 years. Like you said, I'm pretty surprised at the morning line of 6-1 with the Top Pletcher winning by over 7 lengths coming back. But we shall see what it is on Saturday. And then my third pick, I also agree with Touchy. First time out in that Tremont Stakes at Saratoga on June 8th. Second by length in 3/4 to Studley 2 Right, who actually came back to get second in the Grade 3 Sanford Stakes at Saratoga on July 13th by just a length to Mo Plex. Wesley Warren, Joel Rosario win at 20% clip in graded stakes races in the last 3 years, 3 wins from 11 starts. And notably, I think he's been working out like an absolute monster. 3 of his 4 last works have been bullets, including August 4th, going 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 4 at Saratoga. So I'm going all Global Legend, though. I think I'm going to do 20 to win, 20 to show. And that is going to be my wager for that. What wager are you thinking of for the
Well, I'm looking just for a win bet, I believe. I don't want to do exact as with the horses that are so lightly raced because you can't figure it as well as the pace. And to your point, Global Legend, since Touchy takes blinkers off, he actually is the fastest horse early, but Global Legend could be the one to have an easy lead if the other speed balls don't go with him. But I'll be betting Smoke the Wicked at 2-1 or more. I think he really looks like the horse that's going to get up in time here.
Love it. All right. Well, there's your Saratoga special. So next we'll be going over the Grade 2 200K Canadian Stakes at Woodbine. An amazing betting race. So going a mile and an eighth on the turf for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Field of 11, however, Libin and Mission of Joy are both expected to scratch and run the Grade 2 Breeders' Cup, winning your in Beverly D at Colonial Downs on Sunday. Both Grand Motion and Safi Joseph Jr. Said that. But anyway, last year we saw Mora win by 6 1/4 lengths, running 107 Equibase speed figure for trainer Kevin Attard and jockey Rafael Hernandez, and she will actually try to defend her title. She's back in this year's Grade 2 Canadian in post position 7. So what are your thoughts? What are your picks? What do you got?
Well, first of all, Moyer's also cross-entered in that race. I don't know which one Attard has said he's going in. It's interesting because
I believe Moyer is expected to be in this race. However,
it's interesting because he named Rafael Hernandez to ride Moira and Full Count Felicia, which is unusual because stewards in Canada usually don't let you name 2 jockeys to ride. And Grand Motion, it makes sense now. Mission of Joy and Five Towns both had Frankie Dettori, so we know where that's going to go. I like the inside horses here, and this is interesting because a lot of them have not taken turns, but they faced each other. So before we talk about videos, just say Forever Dixie of Cassie's pair is the one that get husbands. That's the one I always take a look at first. Full Count Felicia for Attard, again, assuming Mora was going to go in the other, but if not, I still like her better. I'll get to why in a second, and that's good because Mora will probably be the favorite, and I think she can hit the board, but I'm not going to make her a win bet. And then a small look to the 4 Forever After All, the 2 Millie Girl, and the 10 Fashionably Fab, more for second and third. But let's get back to the first horse. So Forever Dixie came back from a layoff from October to April, won at Gulfstream, classified allowance. Last year, she won the Ontario Damsel on the all-weather with Patrick. And then, again, she could come back. She ran third in the Belt Mahone all-weather. She ran in the Nassau, which is a common race to some of these. And then this race we're going to look at here, which should be the Trillium, right. And this is an interesting race because she ran, and we'll also look at Fashionably Fab. I think Forever Dixie is the 7, Fashionably Fab, who in this race is a 10, is going to be the 4. So go ahead and let this run. And it's just this late kick. She has to alter her course just a little bit here. I've got to pick her up. She's in the the Oxley Gold and Blue. So she's on the outside, I believe. Fashion Fab's the 5, who is now starting to contend. And Forever Dixie is inside, and then she's going to come in between the 7. And the winner solo album has gotten away at this point. And Forever Dixie makes a nice run here. She's going to miss by a head. It's a very good kick. And that kick on all weather, I think, is going to play even better on grass in this race. And Fashionably Fab is only another neck back. And she shows up every time. She's 8 for 13. She never finishes second. She has 3 thirds, but a couple of those thirds, she was just inches off like this one was. So I think you get the rail here with the 103 last race Equibase speed figure. The fact that this is the one that husbands ride, that he's ridden so well. He's ridden her 10 times, 4 of her wins. All 4 of her wins have come with husbands in the saddle. And she gets the rail, and she's got that nice kick. So I'll go with her first. As I mentioned, the 3 Full Count Felicia, and we can pull up the Nassau now, which is the race that's common to Forever Dixie, who didn't run much. She finished 7th to 5th in that race in the last 8th. Millie Girl is going to run 3rd, and Full Count Felicia is going to finish 4th. But what's interesting here, if we set it up from about the stretch run, is Full Count Felicia has been leading from the start on fairly fast fractions, 47, 110, and 2/5. She's going to get ahead but you got to remember now, she's been off almost 5 months. She was off from February 3rd to June 29th. And she's in front here in the gold square colors, the black with the yellow cap. And she's just going to get a bit tired. She's going to run a lot better second off layoff. And I suspect And also, as I said, you can also see Millie Girl coming on. Fev Rover, as a matter of fact, who runs second in this race, is running in the Yellow Ribbon, which we're going to talk about. She ships into California. But I don't think Millie Girl got that tired for a horse that had been off 5 months. I'm not concerned. And when she won at a mile and an eighth last in November of 2022 in her 3-year-old season, she rallied from seventh. She didn't break bad. She rallied from seventh. She's won on the lead. She won the Suwannee River at Gulfstream at a mile from off the pace. I think the tactics are going to be to take her back. And she got a 104 on the Nassau, which is better than the 103 that Forever Dixie got in the Trillium. And of course, the Nassau is on turf. Don't forget, though, tell fans, this mile and an eighth on the E.P. Taylor Turf course at Woodbine, the outside course, is a one-turn race. So don't worry about how far horses have run a mile and an eighth or not, because the first 5/8 of a mile are almost all straight, 3/8 at least. And so I don't think there's a problem with that. So Full Count Felicia ran that big race, and she has a win in the Grade 3 Stakes. Those are the top two. As I mentioned, Forever After All just ran into a monster called Walkathon, winning the Anchorage Stakes, who won, and she was beaten a half a length. Forever After All was on June 30th at Churchill. Walkathon came back to win the Kentucky Downs Preview Distaff Turf Mile, a lot of words there, last weekend at Ellis Park. It's a nice filly. And Brendan Walsh is really good. He's had only 7 starts at the Woodbine meet and 2 wins, but Skidza rode this filly last time out and also drew a win in February. So he's given them out. Walsh just took over training her in February. So since he had her, he has a win, a third, a sixth, a third, and a second. And that sixth was on a really wet turf course, which he's not going to get today. So she's got a shot, as I mentioned. Millie Girl got a shot based on being beaten ahead by Fev Rover, who's a really nice filly. The 10 Fashionably Fab, I mentioned, who likes to win. She shows up every time. 5 wins and 2/3 in her last 9 races. 1 for 1 at Woodbine. Her only race at Woodbine on the grass was a win, but that was on the inner course, not on this one. But she seems to be okay here. And then about Moira, I'm going to use her again, second and third. She got 5 wins in 5 seconds of career. You know, she's best known for her win in the King's Plate. She ran so well in so many races. She won this race last year off a second at Woodbine that danced smartly. This year, she comes in off a second at Diana. She's going to be really bet, I think heavily bet. But she's heavy. Just as happy to run second as first, in my opinion. So I'm going to key Forever Dixie and Full Count Felicia over all the others I talked about, and then look for win bets on one or both of those. But it's a great race, as you said, 11 horses on the grass. Great betting race.
Yeah, great betting race. Thank you, Ellis. I'm going to go a little different from you here. I'm actually going to go with 5 towns. I think with the predicted scratch of Mission Joy, I think that really helps her out. Started her career in England before coming to the States. Ran her first start stateside in allowance optional claim at Gulfstream. She has 2 wins from 4 starts in North America, including the Dahlia Stakes at Laurel Park. Second last time out in the Grade 3 Gallerat at Pimlico to 3-5 favorite Fluffy Socks. You watch that race, 5 towns was dead last for most of the race, sitting on the rail to a slow 25-6 first quarter and 50.6 half. I do think this will be a bit of a faster pace in this race, and the stretch out and distance should help her running style. One of my favorite things, though, is that she'll be going on Lasix for the first time, and I think this is a huge angle for European horses going on Lasix. And Grand Motion wins at 25% in graded stakes races with horses on Lasix for the first time. I think another huge angle is that Frankie Dettori will be up in Ontario this weekend, riding 5 towns. Grand Motion, Frankie Dettori have won a 40% clip together in the last 3 years. What a stat! And you know, since 2017, Motion has had 3 runners in the Grade 2 Canadian Stakes, with a win in 2017 and a second in 2022. So he ships in to win. We don't have the morning line yet, but I'm hoping to get a pretty nice price on her.
You will,
especially if Morris stays in. So that's going to be my top play. Morris stays in. She's obviously going to be my second. You know, fast, classy mare who narrowly missed in that Grade 1 Diana Stakes last time out to White Beam. Obviously won last year by 6 1/4 lengths. She actually has not won since then. However, she has run in the money on 3 Grade 1 races in a row. Loves that mile and an eighth distance, 2 wins and 1 second from 3 starts. And she will also be going on Lasix for the first time on Saturday. In the last 3 years, Trainer Kevin Attard wins at 27% at Woodbine on the turf with horses going on Lasix for the first time. 3 wins from 11 starts. Moyer, she's ranked first in average speed this race with a 106. Around 100 plus equity speed figure in her last 5 starts, and looks tough to beat and will probably be a huge favorite. So I'm going to try to beat her with 5 towns. And then I do like the Cassie horse on the inside, Forever Dixie. Killing it Woodbine, as always, is Cassie, leading trainer by far with 57 wins. He has 9 graded stakes wins out of 33 starts so far this meet. That's 27% win percentage in graded stakes at Woodbine. Also, Forever Dixie, she actually has the best in the race late pace rating with a 118. She also ran a 100-plus equibase speed figure in the last 3 starts, along with 5 consecutive increasing speed figures. I don't think this horse will necessarily win, but it would be nice to play underneath. So I'm going to do an exacta 5 towns with Mora, Forever Dixie, Millie Girl, and Full Count Felicia. So there is your
you're going to be playing just on top, or you're going to box her?
Yeah, I'm going to wheel that. I'm just going to put it on top.
Okay.
So 5 towns on top, straight up. So there's your grade 2 Canadian Stakes. And our final feature race of the day is the grade 2 Yellow Ribbon Handicap at Del Mar. It's going a mile and 16th on the turf for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Field of 6 with the Phil Diamano's with half the field with 3 entries. Last year's winner was Closing Remarks, who won by a neck and a dramatic finish for trainer Carla Gaines and jockey Umberto Rispolo, who last year was the second Yellow Ribbon Handicap win in a row. So we got a field of 6. What do you got, Ellis? Who do you like?
Let's start with this video that I asked you to, when you get a second, pull it up. The video from the Gamely Stakes, which is May 27th. And in that race, mile and 1/8 on the grass at Santa Anita, Analyst, who's likely to be the heavy favorite today, was 5-2, and she won by a half length. Before that, her last race was 5 months earlier in the Grade 1 American Oaks, which she won at 4-5. And want to watch Uncorked, who I think was the 3.
Yeah,
I should write it. Yeah. Okay. So let's run that up. And she's going to be on the rail. That's her in the little noseband on the rail. And she's going to have nowhere to run in the white silks. And nowhere to run, and nowhere to run. And I can say it again, and nowhere to run. And, it was Frankie Ettore who rode her to the win in the Royal Heroine. But then, there's just no path, and he just doesn't do much with her. She was 7-2 that day when Anisette was 5-2. And what's interesting is she's drawn inside of Anisette. They both have good late kicks, really good late kicks. Anisette had won a Grade 1 American Oaks. Before that, she won the Del Mar Oaks for 3-year-olds only. Her only races against older besides the Gamely were last year in the Rodeo Drive. And Uncorked had 4 wins, including the Royal Heroine, a couple allowance wins, and a win in Australia, which is unusual. You don't see Australian horses importing to the U.S. I just think again, D'Amato's got 3, and this Uncorked may be the highest odds of the 3. I think that she's got the kick, as good of a kick as Anisette, and I think she can turn the tables on Anisette this time. It's pretty simple for me. It's going to be Uncorked to win, a box of Uncorked Anisette, and then I'll throw in the 3 Fuente Ovejuna for second and third exactas, a 1-2 over 1-2-3. Fuente Ovejuna chips in after winning the Indiana General Assembly Distaff and Indiana Derby Day for Brendan Walsh, who I mentioned earlier, I think. Walsh just ships around the country with some really good horses. It doesn't ship to California much. What's interesting is he has 16 starters in the last 5 years. 1 wins 5 seconds and 2/3, but 2 of the wins were by narrow margins, a head or less. One was in the Gamely Grade 1, and the other was in the Kilroy Mile Grade 1, 2 of those 5. And he gets Juan Hernandez to ride this horse. You get leading jockey or second leading jockey. I forget if he's battling right now. He may be leading right now again. Riding a horse shipping in who's going to be the 3rd or 4th choice in the betting. So if Fuente Ovejuna is 6-1 or more, I might make a win bet. But Uncorked's my top pick, and that's my really strong exacta box with Uncorked and Anisette, and then a second ticket of Uncorked and Anisette over Fuente over Juna.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, to me, I just don't see anybody beating Anisette on Saturday. Yeah, I picked a couple of long shots today, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with the favorite. Whoever wins, wins, no matter what the odds. She absolutely loves to win. I mean, since her stateside debut in May 2023 at Santa Anita, she's won 5 of 7 races with 2 second-place finishes, North America, including 3 Grade 1 wins. She's 1 for 1 at this distance, 2 for 2 at Del Mar. In the past 3 years, trainer Leonard Powell and jockey Umberto Rispoli went at a 57% clip in graded stakes races together, and 86% in the money, with 4 wins from 7 starts. She's got the best average speed in the race with a 102. Beat Uncorked last time out in that Grade 1 game. Lynn, I know Uncorked didn't have anywhere to go, but Anisette looked really good. I was surprised she was actually 5-2 in that race. But she'll be a huge heavy favorite, I would imagine, 3-5. Hard to make money. So I think I'm just going to single her in some exotic wagers and try to make some money that way. I do like your Uncorked for second, but I think another interesting horse is Bella Bell. She actually has the best average class rating in the race with a 107. That really nice performance in the Grade 3 megahertz stakes at Santa Anita back in February. Led every step of the way. Drifted out a bit in stretch, but still got the job done, winning by a length. What I don't like is that Phil D'Amato and Kazushi Kimura have not won a race together at Del Mar in the last 3 years. They're 0 for 8. But she actually outworked her stablemate Uncorked. They worked in company together. Bella Bell had the bullet work on August 4th, going 5 furlongs in a minute, 0.2 on the turf. She's also proven that she doesn't really need the lead to win. Her San Clemente impressive performance, where she was dead last and moved up to stalk the pace, and then drove clear. I don't think she will win on Saturday, but she will definitely give her stablemate Uncorked a good run for the money for second. But I'm just going to use Anisette in exotic wagers and single her for my wager. So
good luck.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you as well. And also great call last week with Arthur's Ride. You were on that horse for a while. That was fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, well, just occasionally, if you believe a race from a horse's past and you compare it to others, and he repeats it, it comes out right, comes out on top. So it did work.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, Ellis, and we'll see everybody next week. All right. Good luck this weekend.